Well, Chanel.
All right.
Hey, Chanel, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining me for the creator economy. How you been?
I've been well. How have you? How was your trip to one of our dark sky parks in Pennsylvania?
It was, as to be expected, interesting, and I have a better appreciation for broadband these days.
And I take
And
it that image was not captured at that location.
no, this was not. This was actually captured, and this is a future NFT. Actually, this is captured in Turks and Caicos Islands on the island of Middle Caicos. And I should properly kick off the show by saying I'm Jeff Pulver. Thanks for joining the creator economy today. And this is a special edition. This is a learning edition of the creator economy. I realized and appreciate the opportunity I've had to interview creators, artists, folks making movies, making all sorts of wine with NFTs, doing great stuff. But when you cut to the chase, it kind of feels like at times, is there an emperor, and is that emperor wearing any clothes? And so I thought it'd be really helpful to use this edition of the creator economy to create a learning experience, which will then translate into a class, which most likely will be free at Pulver EDU. So this is meant to answer questions from the beginning. This is not NFTs 101. This is actually Introduction to NFTs 100. And my intention here is to say that there's no question that's stupid. It's just, if you're going to make the effort to be here, please ask a question if there's anything on your mind. Chanel is here to make sure that I answer the questions in 75 seconds or less, so that we can get as many questions as possible. And I will go over basics. My intention here today is to show you two platforms, to show you what's it like to be a creator on Rally.io, and to show you what's it like to be a creator over at OpenSea.io. I've only recently, and I say recently, it's only been a couple of weeks that I've been actually active on OpenSea. And I've been on Rally.io actively since May. So Chanel, maybe I'll start with you. Do you have any questions you'd like to kick off with from yourself?
Yeah. So just I'm gonna step back. You know, there was a question in the chat. Somebody asked, "What are we dropping?" In the chat. Why don't we start with MetaMask? And Jeff, maybe you want to show what users need to grab for today to get the special NFT minting that you're going to do.
Well, okay, but let me just pull back 1 second, because we're talking about minting and we're talking about NFTs. What does that even mean? Imagine going on a highway and driving a car, but you've actually never took any driving lessons, and you don't know how to read road signs, and you really have no idea how to even accelerate your car. You know, we're trying to avoid traffic accidents here. Well, there's a lot of excitement and forward momentum. There's also a lot of confusion, and so we'll just start off by saying an NFT stands for something which frankly sounds much better to be NFT, or maybe it should be someone's initials, but it stands for non-fungible token, and it's an asset class, and it was created, it's a legacy term. And I'm from the world of communications, and frankly, when voice on the internet was evolving, I was the person who told the companies who were creating the technologies, talk about what you can do with it, don't promote the actual protocols or specs about what it does. But instead, 3G, 5G came into existence. I promise you that you may have heard the term 5G, but what does it really mean? And forget about conspiracy theories here. We're not here for politics. But what is 5G? What is 3G? Oh, gee, I don't know. But NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's like, well, what's a fungible token? So that gets into a whole other glossary of terms. But let's just say that's something that's fungible. Gasoline. If you own a vehicle that still requires gasoline, while you may connect to a certain brand, at the end of the day, if you need gas for your car, as long as you put the same type of gas in your car, it doesn't matter where you buy it from. Non-fungible, say snowflakes. Every snowflake allegedly is unique. DNA. Forget about copying DNA for a second. We're not going to go there with biology. I'm just saying that we have unique patterns in science that are unless it's ether gas. You guys are funny. But in this context here, an NFT has become associated with the ability to share something and create something that maybe has different characteristics. There are NFTs that can be used as art, really, truly as art, where people are are taking they're drawing on their computer digital art and selling it for a price. NFTs also have the characteristic that they're like tofu, and they could take on characteristics that you make up as you along. If you ever cook with tofu, you know that the tofu takes on the characteristics of whatever else you're cooking it with. In our case here, if Wes Hamill's having a live concert and he has some fans, super fans that want to do meet and greet after the show, Wes could actually sell for a price NFTs for that particular date, for that particular event, to join the meet and greet. And maybe he's doing a charity fundraiser, so he's going to charge $180 or $200 for each backstage pass for the meet and greet. And there'll be, let's say, 10 of them. And that's it, because backstage is very crowded. So before the show, Wes could go on and mint, and I'm going to show people how to do this, manufacture, if you will, 10 NFTs, backstage only, October 30th, 2021. And you can go backstage and hang out with Wes.
And in that way, that's a great comparison and definition. You know, people often get confused right off the get-go, right? What's an NFT? And how do I make contact with that definition, that terminology in my everyday life? But we're all used to having some kind of collectibles that we collect, whether it's a baseball card, hockey card, or maybe posters, or records or vinyl, all kinds of collectibles. Well, an NFT is just a digital collectible that has cachet to it, has these currency associated with it, like a meet and greet, like an album release, like a wine that we've had on the show before, right? Where we had a previous NFT holder, that NFT that you purchase entitles you to a bottle of wine should you want to redeem it down the road. So it's just a digital collectible.
Yes, as opposed to a physical. Now,
an analog. Yeah.
And now there are, just to confuse people, and this is not intentionally to confuse anyone, but there are people who are selling their photography, and the first sale of that photography is associated with an actual photograph. How crazy is that? That if you spend $3,000 on my photograph, I will give you a signed print, let's say 5x7 print, mailed to the person who bought it the first time. And I say the first time because part of the culture of NFTs is resale, where someone comes in and they're collecting, but they're buying it to flip it. They're buying it so that they have an opportunity to, well, in a market that's kind of unbounded, maybe you could sell it for more money. Like when Jacob was here promoting his wine collection, and I think those NFTs represented 6 bottles of a future vintage of his wine. I found out that those he minted, I think, for around 450, 460 and there was around $300 at the time or whatever. They are now those NFTs are being sold last week for $1,000 each. It's wild, wild west. So one of the characteristics that's associated with NFTs is something called a smart contract. And I just want to go over the terminology because what is a dumb contract? What is a smart contract? And in just using the parlance of this community, a smart contract is really an electronic contract between two or more entities, where in this case, upon resale, the original creator of the art, or whoever is designated to be the original creator of the art, gets a royalty. And so in my case, on OpenSea, I declared that I will receive a 10% royalty for everything that I give out that gets resold. It's not based on a price. You could sell something for 3 cents or for $5,000. I'll still get 10% of it for as long as that asset's circulating. And so, for those of you familiar with art history, you don't have to go too far back to understand that, Andy Warhol's estate does not get a legacy royalty every time a piece of his art's sold. I mean, the collectors do, the galleries do, but what about his family? And a couple of years ago, I was contacted by by a friend of the family of a very famous illustrator for Mad Magazine, whose work is known worldwide, but the person passed away. And there was not a lot left in the estate. There was just not a lot there, but because of how the royalties worked. But if that family were to mint a collection of his art, he would actually have a perpetual type of royalty. And by the way, you can use NFTs to represent other things. And there's a lot of tax issues and lots of other stuff that gets gnarly. So we're going to keep it simple right now and say that today, I'm going to show people how they can mint something. And by the way, mint, what is mint? Mint is to create. It's not a flavor of ice cream in this context. It is to create, and we're going to show that. And what Chanel was referring to when we started was, what do you need? And so MetaMask is an application that is known as a wallet. As much as you have a wallet in your pocket, or sometimes you have a wallet in your pocket, well, in the digital world, there are digital wallets. And again, you may notice that I'm not in sync with the terminology being used, because I'm an advocate for using unique terms to represent unique things. But legacy, a digital wallet is where your digital assets are sitting. And in the case of these digital, in the case of the NFTs, there are usually two things you'll find in the wallet: money to buy things, as well as the collection of goods that you've accumulated. Those are typically what you'll see in your wallet. And you'll see lots of other things. If you're active in the crypto markets, you'll see lots of other activities and exchanges. Now, being frugal and new to the market, I had a life lesson. I had thought when I first got on OpenSea, I had to pay a fee to verify and validate my identity through my wallet. Turns out to be not true. Turns out that if I use, it depends upon what blockchain you use. So I was, as a beginner, I was using the Ethereum blockchain to validate my wallet. And sure enough, if you choose to be on Ethereum to mint, you will pay approximately $100 at least 2 weeks ago to verify your wallet. But the cool part that I discovered, and I'm sharing this mistake openly with everybody so that you don't necessarily suffer the same consequences that I did, is if you use Polychain, you can mint for free. You can actually transfer assets for free. There's no gas fee. The charge, that hidden charge, if you will, is something called a gas fee, which is a transaction cost, which is also legacy. So earlier today, Chanel and I got together. He shared with me his Ethereum address for his wallet, and what I did is I actually sent him an asset. And what I will do is go to I'm going to go first to OpenSea. So if I can do this, I need to do screen sharing on this computer. Can I get screen sharing on this one? The one that has, I have to turn the video on. 1 second. This one, the one that has the camera on, I got to do screen sharing on that one. Ooh.
Oops, feedback.
Muted. So is that video still on there? Let's see.
We see you.
You see me. Okay, great. I'm so happy you can see me. Just want to see if I can actually see what I want to share. Oh, great. So this is Space Doodles. Space Doodles is my collection on OpenSea. And you may say, why is it Space Doodles? And I'll say, because I like outer space and I like to doodle. And it's as simple as that. I literally, I have an artist in my family. My sister, Michelle, is a fine artist. She's a commercial artist. She's an illustrator. And I stopped doodling and sharing my doodles a long time ago. But then I got fascinated with this whole platform of NFTs, and I figured, you know what, I can doodle too. So when you this is my OpenSea account. What's in fact, I could put a link to it in the chat. But if you were to go to OpenSea.io, what you would see is Space Doodles. That's me. And if I were to scroll up, I actually have a number of collections here in different things. And let me just find if I could figure out where we were. What I had, the first items here are things I previously made, and then I actually minted by hand actually a number of doodles for today's show. So I'm just looking over here to scroll down. But this is actually collection one. I have multiple collections. Let me just go back. So if I can get here, I'm sorry. So don't mind me. So let me I'll pick one of my other characters just for demonstration purposes. If I click on love over here, what I'm able to do, so there's a price set. I set it to 0.08 of Ethereum. And I have the ability with this to transfer. And if I hit transfer over here, I have the opportunity to send it to an address. The addresses that you're seeing in the chat, those are Ethereum wallet addresses, at least I believe they are. And if I were to simply put an address over here, it would actually be sent over. Chanel, have you been able to get into your wallet since we started the show?
I haven't checked. Let me try now. All
right, please check, because I'm going to actually send to you. I'm going to send to you another character. Just
Oh,
I'm going to send you a character right now. If I see it says transfer. Now, in order for this to transfer, I have to press the button transfer, and it's going to pop up my MetaMask wallet, which is not in the window view. And I hit sign, and then it says transfer asset, and then whoop, you just transferred Space Doodles number 10, soon to be a big collectible. I promise you, it's been confirmed on the blockchain. So what I just did in plain English is I took Space Doodles number 10, which says owned by me. In a few minutes, it's actually not going to be owned by me. It's actually owned by somebody else now. It's owned by an Ethereum address, which maybe not has even been minted, but it is there. I'm going to see if I can find my other Space Doodles collections. All right, I was hoping I have Space Doodles 2, and then I have the Creator Economy. I'll figure this out in a second. But anyway, there it is. See, it says owned by DBF 039. And if I were to click on DBF 039, what's here? So it says it's there, but it doesn't show anything. That's because DBF 039 hasn't. He has 2 hidden assets in his wallet, and he's going to have to actually
log in.
I'm sorry. Are you on your wallet? Are you on OpenSea by any chance, Chanel?
I am. I'm logging in. I think that's me.
Okay, I think that's you, and without knowing it's you, but I believe that is the address I sent it to.
I've been syncing my MetaMask wallet with OpenSea. That's what I'm doing now.
All right. So whenever Chanel comes in and logs in and authenticates his address, he will actually find 2 doodles from me sitting there waiting for him, and he didn't pay anything to receive them, and I didn't have to pay any fees to send them. So that is a major advantage of OpenSea, of being on Polygon as a blockchain versus minting on Ethereum. I'm going to go back to me for a second here, back to my profile, and let's see now. So now if I can go to my collections, let's see, created 35. So let's see who's created here. These should be the new ones. There you go. So let's see. This is from Space Doodles, the Creator Economy. Finally found my collection. Yay. So I created this just before the show. This is a subgrouping, if you will, of my OpenSea collection. This is dedicated just for today's show. The Space Doodles, the Creator Economy. There are 9 items here. This is my old rocker collection, if you will. But you'll notice that character number 508. If I were to bring up full screen. Actually, I drew this by hand and I minted it by hand too. I didn't use the computer to create it. I even learned to sign, and that is actually a signature of me. So he's wearing a Creator Economy T-shirt. So I thought that was kind of cute. So those of you who are here in the show, sharing with us your Ethereum addresses, you can specify. If you go through the collection, if you actually can find this piece, you'll find there are actually 9 items up there which are available. And they're actually all for sale for 0.08 ETH. But I'm happy to, for demonstration purposes, send to people the creations from today. And if you have a preferred creation you like to see as a gift, you can actually make reference to that. I will do that. There's versions also where it actually has a date on it. So same character. What was different and unique is that it actually has October 5th, 2021. And the same character I was channeling the character, and I figured, he actually prefers not to be wearing any kind of commercial stuff. So there he is. That's part of my just general collection, but that's wearing I don't know, some sort of Nehru jacket. I forget what they call it. But anyway, that was the idea. But it's an aging rocker. So that's me. And I've never before publicly shared my art, if we can call it art. But the reason it's called Space Doodles, by the way, is that I've been what I have been doing is creating characters, sharing some of my photographs, and then merging the two together to basically, in some cases, like iron-on decals. I have characters which have like the Milky Way. If you're old enough to remember the 1980s with iron-on decals on shirts, I have some of my photographs as iron-ons on the shirt, on the character, and some other times where the photograph becomes the material for the shirt. So,
Jeff, Dave has already called dibs on 507.
Okay.
Michael had a question for you. He said some of these on OpenSea look like computer generated with a specific set of attributes? How do they do that?
We can talk about that, I suppose. How do they do that? With ease, it turns out. I mean, I am someone who studied, I'm self-taught software developer. I used to program in many languages. JavaScript was not one of them. But a couple of weekends ago, I was inspired to figure out how the heck could people mint 10,000 versions of these different gorillas and have them for sale on OpenSea. And so I found a few different YouTube videos that more or less shared the same story of how to create a development environment. And you know what? I could actually go to the chase and show that too. I am going to stop sharing here. I gotta just find my mouse 1 second. But I am going to mint something here though, but I will stop sharing. I will actually go to my dev environment. That's a little risky, only because I haven't tested that part. But Chanel, can you stop the screen sharing?
Yes, I can.
All right. So actually, it would stop. Just stop my screen. Stop this screen from sharing, please. So I lost my mouse. Pretty ugly. All right. So there you are. So if I actually open up my dev environment, I think I can go here, and I can actually show this. And let me just go into this. Is a minting I did recently. Let me just come in here, make sure it's all here. Oh, good, great. All right, and so here goes. All right, so this is, hi, it's Jeff Pulver. You're watching, listening to The Creator Economy. I'm doing some things on screen which I should have tested before we went live, but such is life.
Living on the wild side. It's the wild.
Living on the wild side. So I am going to share screen. Let's do one participant at a time. Actually, how do I share my screen? Funny. Okay, so I have the control for everyone else. Chanel, how do I share my screen? Click on the other one.
Yep.
There you go. And where's the code base? Whiteboard, iPad. This is not good. Maybe it's here. All right, there it is. Share. All right. Any JavaScript developers out there? Maybe see by waving hands. What I actually have here is code, and if I can just get in here, so I could show you the code itself, which is pretty simple stuff. But let me just go to where is the the index? Now we'll go to the other one. 1 second. I am just looking for. Well, first of all, what I'll show you is that the photos that I created. So if I go to the build, where is the build here? So build. All right. So I guess can everyone see the little character with the purple hat and then purple glasses? Can you see it now?
Yes.
So what's unique in this case is that in this particular build, I had let's see, what attributes did I have set up? So I set up let's see. So that's the actual end result. It was the compile. But before that, what we had is, let me just look here. So these are the variables I played with. I had one background, which was a white background in this particular case. I had 4 glasses. 2 of them were drawn and 2 blanks, just to make it so that not everybody had glasses. Then I had hair, and these are the different hairs. And I had actually, I had 9 different patterns for hair all in. And then I had eyes. I had 6 different eyes. And then I had one body type, which I had here, one body type that I drew. And then I had different shirts from Cosmic. Some of them don't have. By the way, what you're seeing, that's actually from a fire. That's actually a fire shirt. I took that from a live fire. That's actually one of the photos of the Milky Way, just how it became material. Excuse me. One of my favorite sayings. Anyway, so that's how this was. And then what happens is that you create. This is the actual code itself that was written to make this all happen randomly. And from this particular, where is the? I was just looking for the number, but the point of all this is that when you, as an artist, as a doodler, if you if you can deconstruct how you create and think about when you draw something, what would be kind of cool to vary. So I spent too much time looking at pudgy penguins, and please don't judge me on this, but I found the pudgy penguins collection on OpenSea, and I started looking at all the variables of what people were doing. And some of it got too sophisticated for me. And I figured, okay, let me just play with a few things. And so as a newbie doodler, I just took aim at a few different pieces. And so my variables in this case were, just to repeat this, were background. In my case, the background color was kept white and the body type was the same. The body type gave me the framework, so I didn't worry about things like moving eyes or moving nose or mouth. I left that the same. The glasses I had as a variable, the hair types, the eye color, the shirts. And then all I really seriously had to do was configure it. And here's where it comes in. So in the construct in the JavaScript, I had one background. I basically tell it one background. Here's six, do 6 eyes, do 3 iris was I have to look back, and then bottom line, and then here was, construct 500. By the way, if I were to do something like construct 5 just for kicks and save this right now, make sure I'm in the right directory here since I wasn't planning on being here, and simply see if I had to take out the dupes. I'm just going to build 5 of them and then just actually do a quick compile. Node index.js should create 5. Boom, it just did. And if I go back to the build directory, which was just up here, I should be able, up here, I should say, I should be able to go back and see my output. Don't mind me here. So I just have to find where I am. But actually here I'll do it. CD build. There you are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just compiled, created 5 random characters. And if I wanted to create 5,000, there will be duplicates. But so it's the JavaScript development environment, which is free. And that's how I was able to do this. And so it helps to know Unix. I will tell you that my days of knowing Sun OS paid off 21 years later when I decided to create a dev environment on my Mac. But this all took a few minutes, and I actually took someone else's code and I simply replaced their files with my files, because why should I have to rethink something? I could, it's once you see this simple construct, it's pretty easy to go forward. If this is too technical for you, I'm happy to point you to, there are lots of people on the internet these days who are happy to do the builds for you, but it should be free or free-ish. So
Jeff, there's a question from Gia. Were these algorithmically generated from these components like CryptoPunks?
Yes, they were, except I didn't, if you notice over here where it says rarity, original, rare, and super rare, I had equal weights on my construct. So I didn't, when you saw all those body characteristics, shirt characteristics, I was, I didn't put any, I didn't make anything rare or super rare. I just let it randomize and create. But it's from the general idea of CryptoPunks. It's these 5 characters, in fact, are generated by the computer as opposed to by me. But I did create the elements. But for today's download, I actually did not go through the process of minting. I did that all by hand, just because I only wanted to have 10 or 11 different variations. And it worked. All right, Chanel, can you check did you log into your MetaMask by any chance?
I did.
Did you find anything?
I found 2 NFTs.
All right, so let me stop sharing over here. Could you please open up your screen?
I can, but I need to switch browsers. I'm in Firefox. I need to switch to Chrome. So let me do that first.
Okay.
Why don't you talk through what you're going to talk to and I log in?
All right, I'll do that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually show you how to mint on OpenSea. And I hope this information is useful for those of you who are joining us. If it's too basic, I apologize, but I don't know where to start, because I realized, how many weeks into hosting the creator economy that if the reference points aren't understood by people watching, I am speaking to air. And I want this to be meaningful. And the fun part is that if you have photographs, if you have finger painting, if you have grandkids that create art projects, anything and everything can become digital image. And I'm not suggesting for you to share your world with the world, but just yesterday, I sold my very first NFT on OpenSea. I sold one of my pictures for 0.08 Ether. So it was gross $274 at the time. OpenSea takes a 2.5% fee, and I netted the difference. And it was actually a lot of fun. It was so satisfying to have some random person buy my art, and it was like, oh my goodness, and or take that creation. So all right, so I see that so what I'm going to show. There's Chanel. Chanel needs to be. You need to be host again, Chanel.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off. I was going to go ahead and go back to my computer here. I'm messing up only because I have too many computers in front of me. And I'm trying to navigate 3 different screens at the same time, so don't mind me for a little bit. But what I'm going to do is show you how to mint an NFT. So we went so far to do screen share here, and I'm going to go back to this and do share. So I'm back to Space Doodles, dun, and what I'm going to do next is I am going to go to create, where I'm pressing create, and it says create new item. Now, what item am I going to take? I have a character. It is actually number 10 of the collection, and it's one of my old Rocker series friends, which I'm just going to bring into the picture here. And there he is. This is a rocker with rectangle glasses. They're meant to be dark red, like brick colored red, with a shirt that has blue cuffs and a blue waistband, and it says the creator economy. And simply put, that is the character. And did I actually? No, he actually did not show up there. 1 second. I messed up. I have to just exit out of. Not exit out. Let me just exit that. I did not successfully put him in. I see. I successfully blew him up for demonstration purposes, but did not get him into where I want to be. So I'll do this one more time. Put him in here. And now he is. There he is. So that's this is going to be known as Space Doodles number 510. So the name is Space Doodles number 510. And by the way, you can name your characters anything you want to. Here's the describe. I'm going to write live demo on October 5, 2021. Now the collection, I'm putting this in the Space Doodles Creator Economy collection. And I could define the properties, but I'm not going to. Nothing explicit here. Chanel, how many of this item should I make? Should it be 1 or should it be 7? What do you think? How many should I put up for number 510?
Well, we have 37 participants on today's call. Do you want to do 37?
All right, I'll tell you what, we'll do 40 just in case more people join us. But I am giving people preferences. There are other characters out there, and if they want them, they're going to get them. And so I by the way, what you may have missed is by default it goes to Ethereum, but when it's gas free, it means free minting, like there's no charge, and there's no charge for transferring. This is how I could afford to be generous, because that same picture when I was on Ethereum, it would cost me, I think, $21 to be generous to each person who wants to download. So anyway, so it's 40, it's on Polygon, and I hit create. Please wait. Hey, I just created Space Doodles number 510. Isn't that cool? Well, it gets cooler because now I get to sell it. I'm actually putting it up for market, just in case somebody wants to help a nubile artist who's up and coming. Now I could set a price. There are 40 available, and they're each going to be 0.08 Ethereum. So I hit comma. That's why. But 0.08. Which right now is about $275. There is a 10% creator royalty, of 2.5% service fee. That's how OpenSea makes money. Complete the listing. And and now I have to sign my wallet. So now this is where.
So Jeff, just one back up. That creator royalties, that's the smart contract you were referring to earlier on resells?
Yes, that is actually the 10% royalty is that smart contract that is being created dynamically by OpenSea, and
Did you
gets
change that value, or is that set at 10%?
Oh, my each collection. So I have right now under Space Doodles, I have 3 different collections. They're all more or less the same. And you, as the creator, you set the royalty, I think, per sub collection that you create. So I set 10% because I thought that was fair.
Now, for your music NFTs, this is to show you a difference, right? You've collaborated with artists, up and coming artists, where you're exposing their new music and creating an NFT set to your art. Now,
right. So in those cases where I'm collaborating with somebody, typically the original sale, I do a 50-50 split, and that's a smart contract over at Rally. And then on the resale, I might do a 20% resale and split that 50-50. So now, by the way,
because this is a great way for artists, it's a great way for creators, hence the creator economy, to actually monetize their goods, right, through this smart contract.
That is correct. Oh, look at that! Look what came up and now exists in a 40 multiple. That's Space Doodles number 510. You see that? And it's on Polygon blockchain, and it's 40 copies now owned, and hopefully will soon be shared with the world. So we'll get to Rally in a couple of minutes. But the idea is that with the smart contracts and being looking to help plant the seeds for future creators, I believe in sharing, co-sharing, and promoting as much as I can for as many people as possible. So on the music side, I'm very happy to find what different ways to collaborate, because I think at the end of the day, we're all about community, and we're all about collaboration and cross collaboration. And the way that digital merchandise will be used in the near future is unbounded. And while you see me here on Space Doodles, at the very same time, I'm quite sure in boardrooms around the world, people in marketing are looking for affinity programs to basically do brand awareness through NFTs. So I predict, before the end of 2021, some major brands will be doing campaigns for the small percentage of the audience that even understands the term NFT and understands what a wallet is, to deliver collectibles via digital collectibles. So there was a time growing up, I still remember, where gas stations gave away plates or glass or cups as a giveaway to get to fill up your tank. I think later these days you will find major brands, from consumer brands throughout the entire industry around the world, to offer digital collectibles via NFT. Just a matter of time, and that's just for collecting. Forgetting about if you go to the movies and maybe you get the random NFT that gives you backstage pass for the screening, for the premiere of the next Marvel movie. I mean, lots of opportunities here. But that is really that. It's so minting an NFT is easy if you have something you want to share. So in my own collections, and this is for demonstration purposes, this collection, the collection here, Space Doodles, the Creator Economy, my third collection is really I did that really just for today. I do have the original collection, which starts off with just the photographs, and there are only 4 photographs in this collection at the moment. And that's actually I only see 3. There should be 5. Maybe I moved one. I guess there are only 3 here. So this is a photograph I took in New Zealand a few years ago, and in the southern hemisphere, the Milky Way sets horizontally. In the northern hemisphere, the Milky Way rises horizontally. And then if you look carefully, this is a photograph from last summer. This is Neowise over the night sky in Montauk. And then I also captured, this is just another random Neowise photograph, but there was a shooting star taken there. And in the first collection of my Space Doodles, you will find a lot of the photographs that will be used with the characters. And to get a little meta, some of the characters that I'm drawing end up on T-shirts of other characters in the future. So there's a whole story within the story part. But that's really OpenSea, and it's the key takeaways is that minting is the printing process. It can be free if you choose to use the Polygon blockchain, and do not make the mistake that I did originally minting on Ethereum. Chanel, how much money did it cost you to receive those NFTs from me today?
Zero.
Did I repeat that?
Zero.
That's right. It is zero cost. All right. So now we could stop the sharing here.
Those are good gifts.
Can you stop my screen sharing again, please?
Yeah.
So we'll just come back to this. All right. So before I go, so in OpenSea you see only Ethereum, not Polygon. Well, actually, if you go on to my collection, if you go on if you were to click on any of those objects that's in the space doodles, you'll find that they're all minted on Polygon. And what Polygon is if you receive funds via Polygon, there's a two-step process to move the money from the Polygon chain over to Ethereum to cash out. It sounds more complicated than it really is. But these are the early days. Years ago in the world of computing, people would consider this still in beta or still not ready for prime time, but yet people are showing it. David has written something. David is an amazing illustrator. Yes, I will absolutely suggest for anyone to see another collection. 3D animation textures based on your artwork. Love feedback. Yes, OpenSea, Doodle Slice. I can't read. Just click on that. Put that. It's in the chat. I would absolutely just look up David Cohn. His Instagram has his doodles. He's been doodling longer than anyone else I know, at least sharing them professionally or personally. But I am a fan. I do have to say. So
we want to turn it to audience questions now. We've got
yes. I can go to Rally. Do you want me to show you quickly what's happening on Rally?
Yeah.
All right, so I will prep my Mac to be on Rally. So all right, so if there are any questions about what we just saw.
Yeah, in the meantime, while you get set up, if there are questions, drop them in the chat or use the hand up emoji so I can unmute you and spotlight you so that people looking on different platforms can see and hear you as well.
Okay, let me just I'm just looking for, I'm going to log in as one of my aliases. I don't need to be my alias for this purpose. Let me just see if I can get this. Yeah, Jeff Coin's having a hard time these days, but another topic. Let me actually see if I could find the NFTs. I'm just going to my NFT part, and then I will switch over. All right, I'm ready to show stuff. All right, so let me come back here. All right, so before I go over to Rally, Chanel, is there a question?
Yes, Gia has a question for you.
Hi, Gia.
Hi, it's Ja.
Ja.
My question was, how complex can these smart contracts be? Like, can you assign the royalties to somebody else? Can you trade that contract itself and broker that?
My experience is that you can have multiple parties participate in the sharing of the royalties. In the case of Rally, for example, I can show you the intake form where if you're a creator in Rally, you can give 100% of the proceeds of each sale to a charity or to whomever you want to. And but the contracts themselves are not. I don't have a way to get access to those contracts directly. I don't believe it's the intention for those contracts to be tradable, but I would never put it past anyone's ability to figure out how to. I've been focusing more on the art and how to promote and sell the art. But for all I know, there may be a futures market already in place for some people's art, and people may be speculating beyond all that. I'm still looking at the very basic stuff of just bringing things to life and sustaining them. One trick I've noticed already about OpenSea, or for that matter about Rally, is if you've ever heard about crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, you think you could raise money by going to a crowdfunding platform, but it turns out you're much more successful if you could bring the crowd. That if you just show up and you don't have any friends to come with you on that experience, it's hard. And so in order for me to promote, and for anyone really to promote on OpenSea, we need to bring our crowds into the community, our community as part of that crowd, so that we can do it. And So nothing prevents a buyer from making a print. Right, that's true. But if there are any intellectual property lawyers here or any intellectual properties looking for more income streams, I'm pretty sure that if you were to buy a print from David or myself from a gallery, and you were to include that in your merchandising, you wouldn't even consider it because there's no transfer of ownership. All you're getting basically is that viewing, the ability to hold on to it and say, I own this. It's much like owning a comic book. Marvel and DC Comics wasn't giving the people reading comic books the opportunity to own the brands or own the characters or the storylines. My sister, who's sold over 2 million pieces of her art over the last 30 years, sells her art, but never really transfers ownership. She keeps the original rights to herself. So it's not even a gray area, but things are being mishandled. People are taking advantage. Chanel, is there any other questions, or I'll go over to Rally?
Yeah, Wes had a related question, actually. He asked, for content that includes spoken word or musical elements, how long can the spoken word or musical element be? Is it time limited, or does it vary, say, on Polygon versus Ethereum?
It's actually not, as far as I've experienced, it's not a function of the blockchain you're on. It's a function of the minting platform you're on.
Okay.
So on Rally, which I'm going to go to in a second, they have a limitation that the size of the file you upload cannot be bigger than 50 megabytes. I believe on OpenSea, the limitation was 40 megabytes. So, but how much music you put in there is really a function, as you know, of how, the depth of the music and the details of the pictures. So I'm going to switch over to.
You want to say how long your musical samples have been?
My musical samples have run anywhere from 12 seconds to 25 seconds, 30 seconds. I have a brand new piece that went up just today. The timing was pretty good for the event. I totally forgot that I had it. But I'm going to see if I can do a share screen and share that with everyone here. It's over here now. Actually, I have to bring up the audio too.
And it turns out we do have an IP lawyer in our group.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah, Roderick has chimed in.
Wonderful. I think this is a great time for so here's a piece called "Reaching Out to the Stars," and I'll turn my speaker on.
Like a supernova.
So I took some codes from every time he and all that music came from GarageBand. I just had to curate that, but the animation came from my sister. So this is just a one of one. But if you looked at Space Doodles over on OpenSea, you'll notice very similar branding. And this character that I have over here that looks like it was from LegalPad, because it was, and that's what was traced in to kick off the whole process. And when I look at my own creation, so if I go to like creators over here on Rally, there are a bunch of creators over here. This is my collection, and I broke it up into 3 different types. I have a sunrise collection, music NFTs, and night sky, and some of them sometimes they overlap. But if I take a look, if I go into the music NFTs over here, I'll go over here to, let's say, all right. So we'll go ancient light. So this is light. This is the music is actually by JD Cotton, and if I were to unmute it here,
there's nothing left but looking for the light. Listen for the cannons in the fight. There's nothing left but looking for the light.
And that's just a demonstration of what we can do in terms of, you're really only limited by our imagination. I have music NFTs by JD Khan, by Emily Sangder, and by my friend Jay Muna, known as Broke Fuse, and I have, I think, 7 more music NFTs coming out. As a creator on Rally, currently they look for 10 business days notice for the minting of an NFT. and they also need to verify the authenticity. If I'm collaborating with an artist, they have to get the artist's permission to to be involved. And if I were to look at the NFTs, if I could actually get in, see if I can find a link I'm looking for. There is a form that we fill out, and I was just going to look at the intake form if I could find it. Actually, it should be here for creators. Or actually, I'm going to go to just rally.io. So by the way, if you happen to have Jeff Coin, if you go to nft.rally.io/your username, you'll actually find that you have an NFT from me if you haven't been there in a long time. But when it comes to for creators, let's see, NFTs on Rally. I'm just actually going to go over here. I am, as you could tell, maybe not exactly crazy with this new interface, but guide to NFTs, and this is the request form. So Chanel, can you see the request form? Okay.
Yes.
So this is, as a creator, what they're looking for. Actually, I actually can show this, but basically, it's your email address and your Rally accounts. You'd fill this in. Let me just go down the form if it'll let me. Any other addresses, that's for communication. Your Rally coin. So in my case, I'm Jeff Coin. The title, so you can have up to 150 characters per creation. A description. Desired split, so that when something is sold for the very first time, if you're not getting 100% of it to your own account, how do you want to split it? And that's a smart contract, by the way. And this is the secondary sale. So upon resale, is it 5% to each party, 10%? It's public, and it's part of the smart contract associated with it. And Rally has 4 different ways to sell things: buy it now, an open edition, auction, and manual sale and distribution. And that comes down to more of a basic community stuff. Buy it now is the most popular way of doing it, so that I'm putting things for sale without a time limit. Auction would be time-based. Open edition means we're selling it for X amount of time, and while it's for sale, it will be unlimited number of units being sold. And that's the whole form. And I'll go back up again. So it's the thing to think about is when you're creating your creations, if you're collaborating with somebody, this is a way to connect and permanently install that the collaboration partner will be paid. And I enjoy collaborating. I enjoy connecting. There are a few friends of mine who are artists, and I feel like I have I've been given the opportunity to have a virtual gallery. So where possible, you could look for some beautiful art coming from Joyce Bryan real soon. I think the minting date is another week or so from now, and that's up to Rally. As far as I was concerned, we could have minted it earlier. And now that I'm more familiar with OpenSea, we can also mint over there. So, but it's a process, and there's a lot of moving parts, and it's for something that seems so simple, so much in the vernacular, there's so much unknown. But if you have something you want to sell, as much as you'd go to other marketplaces to sell your crafts, whether you're on, my sister Michelle has been selling her art on Etsy for years while she has her own website. Platforms like OpenSea and Rally and places like that are going to be future marketplaces for creatives of all types.
So Jeff, on that point, there's a couple of technical questions, and I know we're short on time, but maybe we can bang these out quickly. One asks, can I use Trust Wallet, for example, rather than MetaMask? Or is MetaMask exclusively required?
I don't know the answer. I think on OpenSea they give you a whole variety of wallets to choose from, both mobile and desktop. I mean, I've had best experiences using using desktop clients, not mobile clients. For whatever reason, the state of where we're at is people are desktop oriented. Can you mint videos? Yes. Is there a limit on size? Again, that's platform specific. On Rally, the video size is 50 megabytes. On OpenSea, I believe it's 40 megabytes in size. Rally.io, in order to, it's free, just like OpenSea is free to get on, it's free on Rally.io to get an account. Where it's gated is who is a creator and who is not. And while the big vision at Rally is for everyone to be a creator and everyone to have a chance to have their own coin, there's still right now just 200 plus creators. And I think their goal is to have thousands and thousands in the future. I was fortunate to be in the first 100 or something batch, and it's turning into a pretty it's very gone the way Twitter went, where first a lot of tech geeks got involved and then celebrities followed, and right now it's the celebrities that are getting the attention on Rally. Any other questions, Chanel?
Yeah, Dave asked about that he checked his portfolio, an NFT portfolio in Rally, but he didn't see anything. And so I just wanted to add that we haven't gifted any NFTs yet.
The only NFT that came out on I can actually go back to sharing a screen. I'll show you. Back in August, I did my first NFT drop. If I just do share screen, I think I could find my screen again.
Now, while you're doing that, but we were asking for Ethereum or MetaMask wallet IDs, and so that part hasn't been done yet.
Right. No, that is definitely not done yet. But if I go to nft.rally.io/JeffPulver2, which is my other account, you'll find that this was an NFT that I dropped to everyone in my community back on August 18th. And you very well might see a similar looking photograph on OpenSea one day, at least with the idea of the coin. No, I am going to be dropping people's NFTs as soon as the show is over, and I will save. I will make sure I save the chat so that we are all together on this. Let me stop the sharing. So let me actually save the chat.
So if you haven't dropped your MetaMask ID, now's your chance to do it.
Well, it's not it's really an Ethereum address. It's not necessarily MetaMask.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's and really this is I'm going to do an open call to people to my mailing list too. I think that back in May when Jeff Coin got issued by Rally, I called it the Jeff social experiment, and this is part 2. I am minting these coins as a process of trying to understand user behavior and trying to understand what the world is evolving into. I do hope to benefit financially by becoming an artist and by expressing my own creativity. And at the same time, I want to learn and see how this works together. And I'm very open to partnerships, collaborations, and ways to raise awareness. So that's why I thought it was important to dedicate to today's show. And frankly, I'm happy to do more shows. If you have more questions or more follow-on stuff, there are times when it's very alone out there, even though the internet has billions of people connected to it. When we're figuring things out by ourselves, part of that is wonderful discovery, but it also gets frustrating. And I purposely did today's show to help share some of the things I gained and learned, to help save lots of other time for you. So as you explore, at least you have a few shortcuts.
Jeff, how do you want folks to get a hold of you to suggest maybe a successor or a follow-on show? Do you want them to email you, or do you want to continue the conversation on Twitter? And they can
it'd be most direct is to send me an email to jeff.pulver@gmail.com. I believe today's show is being recorded.
It is.
And I think we're live on LinkedIn right now. We may be live on my fan page on Facebook, and it might be even on the Pulver Studios YouTube channel. So it's available for replay. I also have, I could also send it out from Zoom. But the reason for having the audience in Zoom is so people can ask questions, because I'm not looking for the questions on the other platforms. It's just much easier and more personal for me to be here. So the drops will follow. If you're watching this, by the way, on replay, hi, I'm Jeff, and you're welcome, by the way. If you were to email jeff.pulver@gmail.com, your Ether wallet address, if there's still drops to be had, I'll be happy to send some to you. And I will be sending out an email to the community at large in a day or so. Give a shout out to Will Ryan, who just joined us. He's in East Hampton, I think. This is the end of the show. But Will, if you're interested in digitizing or NFTing your art, you're in the right place. We're just at the end of the show. But I'd be happy to follow up on stuff. Any final questions, Chanel?
Can
you maybe bring yourself back into the picture so I could look at you directly?
Yeah, sorry. I like to be in the background, but that's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, Ja asks, would you recommend Rally.io over OpenSea? Is it worthwhile to apply to be a creator currently if you're not a celeb?
That's a hard question
Yeah.
to answer. I would like to believe. Well, I happen to know that they have different people responsible now for different segments. If you are an artist, there is a person I can introduce you to who's curating the artists. I didn't have that person's contact before, but now I do. There is an entertainment group I know working with one of the major talent agencies looking to onboard actors, actresses, as well as people that are into esports and e-gaming. I mean, there's a whole set of other industries. You'll find some of the top players of esports as celebrities on Rally, and it's just, maybe it's my age, but my definition of a celebrity has shifted. And but the thing is, anyone who's going to bring eyeballs into the platform and anyone who can help bring commerce. So my hope is that if a certain celebrity is on board and their fans are there and they're checking out, and there's a serendipitous opportunity for someone to discover my art on Rally, I'm in favor of that. I mean, why not? Rising tide does raise all the ships, right? It's not just singular focused. So
well, you might have a celeb in your family. Templeton actually asked about your sister. So maybe she's a fan of Michelle here. She wants to know, is your sister doing all of your animation movement? She has a question she wants to ask, and I don't know if you want to take it now or if you want her to contact you.
No, Tempe is fine. You can ask.
So let me unmute her. There you go.
Hey, how are you? Could you?
Hey, guys, I'm good. My brain feels like it wants to explode. I really don't. Jeff knows I don't understand any of this, but I'm so grateful to be part of this community. My question, biggest one, Jeff, and I would love to just reach out to you again because I'm always emailing you. Bless your sweetheart, and you're always so kind. For the NFTs on Rally and then on OpenSea, when you were talking about the animating, so your amazingly talented sister, is she doing all those different animations?
Michelle's doing those animations, yes.
Okay. That's so cool. Okay. And that answers that question, because I'm very curious about doing more of these myself, just as I've been kind of doodling too. We have a
I can share with you off camera the platforms that I'm using. I was told by my sister not to disclose all our secrets, so like a magician.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But maybe you can share what it is you want to do.
Well, I'm so honored, first and foremost, just thanking Jeff, because he was so kind to have us, my husband and I, as musicians on his show.
You guys are truly amazing, very talented, and always look forward to having you back.
Oh, God bless you. And I can't wait to come back and got more stuff to talk to you about on that too, with new music. And I'm just so grateful, and I don't want to take too much time. So, and it's Jeff who introduced us to this whole NFT world, and I'm excited about the one we have. And I still am clueless really on how, if I wanted to do one, for example, I've been kind of letting my little inner graphic artist out too.
So I'll show you real fast. I mean, were you here the whole time, or did you join us midway, or what?
I was like 6 minutes late because the computer.
So you saw OpenSea.io?
Yes. So that leads me to the question. I was kind of confused because obviously I'm not a tech person. I don't understand JavaScript, all those things. So when you were on OpenSea and you were actually going to mint one, and it gave you the little spot where you're going to upload your art. Right. Do they all have to be? And again, I'm not speaking the correct language because this is way above.
It could be one of, I think, 5 or 6 different file formats. I happen to have been using PNG files.
So I could basically, if I put some, design something, I don't have to do it in layers, I guess. That was key.
Right now, the layering technique, and then when I was compiling the code or showing you how to compile the code to create, a collection of 10,000 NFTs, because it would be mind-boggling to do those by hand. But if you do deconstruct your doodling and think about, it would be fun to have different hair on this person, or different eyeglasses, or maybe you want to have a different accessory. That's where the layering works for me. And it's fun because when I created 5,000 versions with these different inputs, there were some creations my mind didn't see until it was minted by the computer. I didn't even though I visually drew each thing by hand, there were some unique combinations or colors, because I also changed colors, that it was like, wow, I kind of like this. This is pretty cool. So if you don't focus on the automation, if you have if you create art that you like, that you love, you can go from creating it to minting it within minutes or an hour or two, right? It takes a few minutes to download. I recommend Chrome as a browser, and I do this because it works for me. I know Chanel uses Firefox, but I never used MetaMasks until 2021. But I found that Chrome with MetaMask as the wallet for the digital art worked very nicely. And I'll tell you, I was first put off that when my default setting on MetaMask was that, because I didn't know better, I went to mint on Ethereum, and they validated my wallet, and it cost me about $100.
Wow. And
then it's like I put something up for bid, and I wanted to take it down, and I didn't think I can delete it, so I spent $21 more just to remove it. And I wasted about $200 a weekend or so ago, and I feel so silly now, because if you simply delete it, it doesn't cost anything. And then when I was talking to my friend Jacob, who's minting these wine NFTs, and he told me about Polygon, I realized, gee, wow, it's one thing for me to mint, but like for everyone who's watching the show, if I want to give you one of my pieces of art, if I was on Ethereum, I'd be literally paying $20, $21, $22 every time I transferred. So to be gratuitous is one thing, but having to pay a fee to be kind, it was like kind of pushing me. So the alternative network of Polygon, which is compatible with Ethereum. Anyway, on OpenSea, I chose Polygon, and now the things I mint, and I can publish and transfer for free. I can sell for free. And by the way, everyone and anyone who comes here today and receives the NFT, by all means, put it up for market. Sell it if you'd like. It's a gift. That will keep on giving back to me, because I get 10% on every sale. So I'm more than happy to experiment. And if you want to hold on to it, hold on to it. If you like to share it, share it. I'm learning too. And if I could find the way on how to market this as an individual, I will share that with everyone else, because I think it's collectively we can help grow this. So, from your perspective, I think if you take your doodles just as they are, and upload
one of a kind. They don't have to be,
Yeah, they could be whatever you want them to be. The fun part is I will put on Thursdays at Jeff's place, I have the newsletter, the recap. If you have your own NFTs, I will put them in the updates, so people can say if they want to support your art, support your music, I will put it there as that's available for sale.
You're an angel, dude. You know that, right? Like, you guys are both so dang sweet. Well, the whole family. Thank you, because you've got me really. I'm just really excited trying to figure out how to put some art with some of our music too.
That would be great. So I'm very simple at this. I use iMovie, and I basically I just merge the soundtrack with the moving pictures, literally.
I was just going to ask you that, if that's how that makes.
Pay attention to the file size limitation, right? It's 40 or 50 megabytes, depending on the platform.
Right.
So that's the constraint you have to deal with, is that file size limit.
That makes sense.
But now imagine, by the way, Tempe, imagine doing a show and then taking a photograph from the stage, and then you put it for sale the next day or that night for the fans that came to the show. So
Jeff, that's actually unleashed all kinds of thinking cap. And so now questions are flooding in. Do we want to continue?
I will continue. I appreciate.
I think we're getting to some real meats and potatoes questions here. Do you want me to ring them off to you?
Let's do it. I mean, I'm here. We're all here. There's. I appreciate time is limited for everyone else, but I have a little time today.
If folks want to drop off, they can. But since we're recording this will have archival value. So let's do a couple
questions. Nice to see you.
I'm going to mute myself. You guys are off.
Thank you.
Remove that. So we go back to. So I'm going to do a couple of nitty gritty and a couple of technical questions. How about that, Jeff? Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
So, on the bigger picture, there are two questions that are on a very similar vein. So let's do big picture first. how can nonprofits benefit from NFTs? And then, of course, relating to that is, how do artists, musicians get visibility into this world? So do you want to start with nonprofits and then maybe?
Yes. So there's an organization called endowment.org, and it's spelled differently than it sounds. It's ENDAOMENT.org. I worked with them with Why Hunger on July for the promotion we did on July 16th this year, where people were donating Jeff coin and other coins from Rally to Why Hunger. Endowment.org's business is to work with not-for-profits, 501c3s specifically, and help them receive donations from people who have crypto. And they have already worked with me on Rally. And if you happen to have, if somebody's looking to do fundraising on Rally, they're all set up to receive funds associated with any type of art that's posted. And I believe the same thing would work on OpenSea. You just have to reach out to endowment.org, and if you are interested, just email me, and I'll make a personal introduction, because that works well. In a broad sense, if you represent a charity, if you're part of a charity or charitable organization, if they had a Rally account, you would specifically tell them on the splits or on the sales where to send the proceeds. On OpenSea, you basically, for each time you have a collection, you specify the wallet address to receive the funds. So let's say we're doing 100% project, 100% fundraising for charity A. If charity A has a wallet associated with it, once you set up the account, once you set up the collection, the charity will receive the proceeds directly, and there's no interference. It goes directly from the sale into the wallet of the charity. And so for fundraising purposes, this is where it's fun to be creative, because we can create once in a lifetime experiences. An NFT could represent a meet and greet with an artist. It could represent a walk-on role for a play or a movie. It could be anything you want.
Show, yeah.
Or a TV show. I perhaps have done that before. So, although I
really do think it's just limited by our imagination. The last time, maybe it was the second before show, while all those things you said are certainly possibilities, but it can be anything. We've had, people that have come on to their show that have been very staunch advocates for preserving elephant habitats, of course, big cat habitats, right? And we've seen how those kind of creator economies are now being used to preserve and protect these limited sanctuaries for elephants and big cats specifically.
So so with the NFTs, the charity becomes the receiver of the funds directly. There's no third party. You can directly give, and it's like a directed give. So if you happen to know the wallet address or speak to the charity and they learn a little bit about what NFTs are and what wallets are, they can receive the donations. Look, I'm sure if you want to donate to Why Hunger, go to whyhunger.org and donate directly. You don't need to wait for an NFT to come out to support them or any charity. But if from a fundraising perspective,
I think that was the question that Michael was trying to get at, is that if you're affiliated with the charity and you want to get into the space,
this is a fun way to. This may be a fun way to bring multiple generations into philanthropy. That it makes it fun and interesting for people to give and provides a new way of giving.
So, and on that related note, let me go back in my chat now, because there's been a lot of stuff coming in. But it was a question from Consuelo. She asks, how do artists and musicians get visibility? And I picked this one because I think it's related to another comment that Zachary made, and that is, direct access. He points out in his message, direct access to NFT creators team, and this can be done via Discord, Twitter, and Telegram, whatever, is huge for project success. And I think that is true. I think that's how you bring people, into what you're doing. Is you have these channels on social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, and you're bringing your community to what you're doing. Would you agree?
I would agree that the success starts and stops with community. It's like if Tempe's going out doing a show, right? There used to be a time where you ask for a mailing list, where you ask someone's email address to notify them the next time you have a show. and that we may post blindly on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever platform or people who do TikTok videos to do promotions. We never know who's receiving it. An email, sure, maybe only 7, 10, 12% of the people you send an email to read it. But it's all about community, and it's not been figured out yet necessarily where's the best place to promote yourself tomorrow. It's the music industry is an interesting industry. I've been around it for a very long time. I have friends of mine, or I happen to be fortunate and grateful that I'm friends with some pretty famous people, or people who were famous, who did quite well in music. And it's changed where there was a time that labels invested in artists and artist development, where ultimately millions of dollars were spent, but it was well worth it because of the music that came out of it. And while it may seem that we're in cookie cutter days where people unless you have 50,000 followers on this platform, or 1 million views on your YouTube video, or 5 million views, don't apply. I'm seeing a renaissance. I recently was reached out to by 2 friends of mine who have been in the music industry between 30 and 35 years each, and they represent a team of people from that whole ecosystem, and they actually want to take a fresh look at the music business. And they're looking at NFT. They were looking at the work that I'm doing at Jeff's place with my NFTs, with a 50-50 revenue splits and opportunities to generate revenue for artists that literally out of thin air. And they're inspired by that. And so I think there's a chance that people can actually one day live off their music once again, because the way it's gone with Spotify and streaming, any ability to live off those royalties are gone. And so it's if you're not doing the live show. And so when you're doing a live show, being able to create what I call digital breadcrumbs and merchandise those breadcrumbs to your fans and create super fan experiences, you're only bounded by how you think. The word no does not exist. It's just how you can create that. And I am seriously considering starting a company to manufacture digital merchandise, or at least to help others figure that stuff out, because I think
help facilitate
that. Yeah.
So the last one, it's a lob that you can hit out of the park, and we'll end it on an easy one for you, Jeff. And since this is NFT 100, not even NFT 101, I think this is probably a question a lot of people in our audience have. How do you spend the currency you earn, these digital currencies? So maybe you want to talk about what you can do with that cryptocurrency you earn, just for those that are still unfamiliar, how you connect the loop between going from a crypto to fiat to buying.
Well, fiat, by the way, means cash in terms of your own currency. So if it's a Canadian dollar, US dollar, or whatever dollar. In my particular case, just the other day, I sold my very first NFT from Space Doodles, and it's sitting waiting to be collected on Polygon. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with that. But if I have a bill for $270, I might just pay it directly.
Right. So you can cash out, deposit it into your bank account.
You can.
Or right now, you can just let it sit there in your wallet.
I mean, for me right now, it's going to sit there. It's just easier. But I did a little research, and it's a very simple 2-step process to go from Polygon to Ethereum. And then if I actually don't have a Coinbase account, but if I had a Coinbase account, I'd be able to go from Ethereum directly to cash, and it'd be a 2 or 3 clicks, and there's the cash. But in terms of how to spend it, there are a lot of people who have who have crypto, and they're using it to collect art. They're using it to do all sorts of things. Where as sophisticated as we've become over the last few years in payments, we're still at the very beginning part. You're looking at no matter how big the industry is today, it's about to grow tremendously tomorrow. And just like how other things like communications affects every aspect of our life, there are things about where NFTs come and go that we're going to probably call it something else in the future. But being able to have access to things and being associated and having passion connected to those assets that offer access changes the dynamics. And I think that we're living through a quantum shift in how we do things. We just don't know it yet because we're too close, and this is our everyday. And even if we see things happening, you need almost like to zoom away and have a historical perspective and take a look in the future how these things evolved. But it's going to be the people who figure out how to make the complicated things absolutely simple. They're the ones who will truly be successful. Because in any gold rush, it's not the miners that made the money necessarily, although they did. It was the people who made the forks and the shovels.
The facilitators.
The facilitators. So I think collectively here we could help facilitate positive change and bring together a community of people that are creating and sharing, and we help each other by being here and by cross connecting our communities.
What a great way to end. So we've had a long conversation, but I think it's been very helpful, and we've either confused a lot of people or less confused folks.
Well, I want to thank Chanel for sitting in for Lauren and for really helping to facilitate the conversation. I thank every one of you for being here today. And if you want to see a wonderful collection on OpenSea, check out my friend David Cohen's stuff. His doodles are as good as it gets, as far as I'm concerned. And if you want great music, Templeton Thompson, check her out and check out her husband. Her stuff is beautiful, and Wes Hamill's stuff is great. And there's so much great talent out there, and we're just one click away from all of that. So love and light to all of you. We'll be back next week. We might do another NFT 100 or 101 class. And again, make sure if you're watching this on the replay and you didn't drop in your Ethereum address, hopefully you'll come to the next show. But jeff.pulver@gmail.com is my email, and I'll be doing the fulfillment this afternoon. Chanel, thank you so much, and love to everyone, and we'll be back soon, next week. Bye for now.
Stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Are you going to be here for a little bit, Chanel? Are you going to hang out?
Yeah. Do we want to do an open house or?
You can do open house. I'm going to actually come right back. I'm going to stop the live broadcast because right now we're still streaming live.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll be back in a moment for those who want to hang out. The after show will begin soon.
So for those that want to stick around, we normally have a short after show. It's kind of, after the recording stopped, it's an opportunity to open the floor. So what we'll do is I'm going to remove the spotlight so we can see everybody. And I'll turn the floor open. And as soon as Jeff's back from turning off the live feed,